Welcome to Strive to Thrive, a multi-speaker event that aims to empower and inspire you to achieve your full potential. Our event brings together some of the most accomplished and respected speakers from diverse fields and share their stories, insights, strategies, and successes. We've got business leaders, entrepreneurs who will offer a wealth of knowledge and experience on how to overcome challenges, set goals, and achieve greatness. Through our inspiring talks, we will provide actionable tips and practical advice on how to thrive in life, career, business, health, and happiness. Whether you're here because you're a business owner, an aspiring entrepreneur, or a professional seeking to enhance your skills, this event will provide you with an inspiration and tools to achieve your goals and realize your full potential. So I'd like to now introduce our panel who's going to transform the way that you think, act, and live. So welcome to Peter Smith, Mike Wilkinson, John Pryor, James Brown, Debbie Bryan, Steve Mills, and myself, Katie Gordon. Say hello, everybody.
Morning.
Good morning.
And to kick us off, we're going to go straight to our first speaker. Now, we've got about 8 minutes per speaker. We're all going to be really tight with our time and do our very best so that we can finish on the hour. And our first speaker today is Peter Smith. Now, Peter's worked in a large corporate business for over 20 years and at times managing teams of over 550 technicians and managers. He took early retirement in 1996 and worked in the UK internationally, managing change and carrying out interim management at director level in Europe, Central America, and the Far East. After managing his own SME business in Sumatra, he returned to the UK and has worked supporting well over 100 SME business owners since 2005. He currently helps business owners to enjoy their businesses more and support various local initiatives in Bracknell in the UK. So welcome, Peter.
Thank you for the invitation. This is absolutely fascinating. Peter Smith from United Kingdom Business Advisors, helping business owners to enjoy the businesses more. Simple question for you: why do businesses fail? I'm sure we all have our views on this, but there is only one reason why businesses fail, and we'll discuss that a little bit more later. This is a very brief distillation of the various elements of running a business. However, sometimes it's best to go right back to basics when considering business issues. I'll be presenting for you in just a few minutes, so you'll need to pay attention and don't blink. In order to succeed in any business, all we need is a product or service the market is willing to pay for at a price that gives us a profit. How can we get simpler than that? So much for the theory. Next comes the challenging part, which is how we will make this happen. We'll not know whether we have a successful product until the market we're launching it in has given us the necessary feedback to confirm its success. And it's surprising how many people come up with a great idea and say, we only need 0.1% of the market, which is however many millions it is. But they've never actually sold into that market, and so there's no indication of how successful it's likely to be. There are 3 critical questions to ask before I consider with a client whether or not I should be working with them. First of all, where is your business now? If people don't have a clear understanding of what's happening within the business at the moment, then there's a bit of an issue. The next one is, where do they want the business to be? Because if they don't have a vision for the future and they're not clear on what they want to do in the business, then clearly we've got a problem. And then the third question is, right, what do you think we need to do in order to move from the current situation towards the situation that you want to be in? So 3 simple questions. And in order to be clear about where the business is, the first thing is, if we can't measure things, then we can't manage them. So there are many aspects to running a business. Particularly important are cash and people, but there are countless different issues that we need to be considering. And if we haven't measured them, then we can't manage them and we can't anticipate how things will be changing. Now, each business owner will have their own priorities, and so we need to be clear on what the priorities of that particular business owner are. I always emphasize cash and people because without cash, which is the lifeblood of the business, you've got problems. But similarly, if you can't manage people, then it makes life rather difficult. So, for instance, we have customers, we have suppliers, we have shareholders, and we have our own people that we have to look after. Businesses don't grow in a straight line. They tend to grow in an S curve. So they start off fairly flattish, then they grow to a reasonable sort of growth, and then they flatten off again. So you've got a bit of an S curve, and most business owners aren't clear on exactly where they are on that curve. So one of the tasks is to say, well, okay, are you floating along? Are you growing fast? Or are you starting to decline? And we need to make sure that they're clear on that. So it's essential that you have a clear view of where you want the business to be in the future. But the other thing is not just a question of what the business will be doing, but what will you be doing in your business? And how confident are you that it'll be able to meet your needs financially and from a job satisfaction point of view? Many business owners are just trying to survive from day to day and don't have a clear idea of what they want to be doing in the business and how it should be supporting them. If you're a business owner, it should be supporting you. You shouldn't be supporting the business. And so one of the important things to consider is how you reach a situation where you're completely comfortable in the business. And usually, if you can manage the business owner so that they can be dealing with strategic aspects instead of the day-to-day running of the business, then that's the sort of target that we should be looking for. So I'll conclude now. We've covered the main aspects. What I didn't clarify for you from the original question was, why do businesses fail? And there is only one reason why businesses fail, and that is they run out of cash. If they've got an abundant amount of cash, then they don't need to fail no matter how badly they're running the business. But for most of us, we need to ensure that we've got money coming in a lot faster than it's going out. So there are many reasons why you run out of cash, but that's the only reason why you fail. Peter Smith from United Kingdom Business Advisors, helping business owners to enjoy the businesses more. Thanks, Katie. That's me over.
Katie muted.
Hello again. Sorry about that, folks. Thank you, Peter. That's great. And our next speaker tonight is me. I'm Katie Gordon, and I'm Dietless Living. I struggled with my weight for a quarter of a century and spent over $100,000, but couldn't prevent that inevitable habit relapse and weight gain until I developed my own program using proven change behavior strategies and lost over 20 kilos without dieting and have kept it off for the last 12 years. And now I show others how they can step into dietless living and take control of their weight and health and happiness as well. And as business owners, we're very focused people. We're lateral thinkers and we're driven to succeed. But one of the problems with being a business owner is that we're generally walking around with everything going on in our mind, which means that we're always sort of living in a state of overwhelm and stress, which is driving most of our unhelpful health habits and puts our health under pressure. And a few signs that your health is actually already under pressure is being overweight or simply being unfit, stress eating and drinking, unrelenting body aches and pains. Perhaps your, headaches and migraines are very normal for you. You might even be waking up seedy in the morning, even if you haven't drunk anything the night before. You wake up with that brain fog and kind of gritty mouth. And these are all things that we need to kind of take care of. And we can do it through these top 7 habits of healthy, happy business owners so that you can actually take control of your health while you're on the fly working in your business. So habit number 1 is create a success plan for yourself. Now, we all know we've got to have a business plan, and health plans are exactly the same. But to have a health plan that works while you're a business owner means you've just got to keep it really simple. Don't try and change too many things all at once. It's just a recipe for chaos and tension and stress. So just think about what it is that you want to achieve and plan it out in phases. Implement one phase at a time and think big picture. You want to think about what that whole big picture is and then think about the details that will get you there and implement small bits at a time. Think about what you can do, what you can't do. There's a million things we want to do, but we can't do them all at once. And think about who else is actually going to be affected by the changes, because every change we make does affect other people. And often that's where we get pushback and that derails whatever plan we've got going on. And lastly, schedule it in your diary. You've got to put it in the diary. If it's not in the diary, it doesn't happen. And it's not a plan. It's nothing. It's just a dream. So habit number 2, change your focus. We want to get out of focusing in on 55,000 things. We want to focus on one thing. We all know that's impossible. As a business owner, we've got 55 things to focus on. But you've got to have the one thing that you keep coming back to, like a rubber band. You want to know what that one thing is, the one thing that's going to move your business, and pull yourself back. What this does is help reduce your stress and overwhelm, and that will help your health and help you maintain the other things that you want to do to improve your health. And paradoxically, we also need to go from a narrow focus, which is focused in on a problem, to an expanded awareness, which is the bigger perspective, the bigger picture. When we're able to do that, that helps us move out of living in a state of survival and being focused in on a problem, and brings us out to seeing the bigger picture and being able to more proactively and effectively problem solve. So habit number 3, you want to keep your willpower tank full so that you can override old automaticity and create new automatic behaviors. And one of the best things that you can do is simply relax in the gaps. This is about de-escalating stress throughout the day. So relax in the gaps. We'd love to have an hour to do meditation and yoga and great things for ourselves. But seriously, we just usually don't have that amount of time. And it's really what's happening through the day. There's probably a good 30 gaps through your day where you've got 1 minute, 2 minutes, 5 minutes, maybe even 10 minutes. When you can use those gaps to develop a relaxation technique that you can just simply close your eyes and allow your brain just to have a moment, that compounds over the day, and you will notice a big difference by the end of the day. Redirect your language. Complaining is draining. I'm going to have to hurry up because I'm getting short of time, and I'm only at number 4. So habit number 4, move your body in fun ways. Implement the 2-minute rule. Don't worry about an hour at the gym. Just pick 2 minutes and do small amounts of exercise throughout the day. Small things repeated daily will equal big change over time. Habit number 5 is mind awareness. It's about implementing the pause, the stop, stepping back mentally, emotionally, and physically so that you can kind of just reassess what you're doing and where you're at. Think about future pacing. Think about how you'll feel after you've done or not done something, after you've eaten or not eaten something. If you can move yourself forward and think about that, it helps you to develop your behavioral flexibility and maybe make a new choice. Leaning in and leaning away. Lean into things that you want to do, lean away from things you don't want to do. And habit number 6 is master transitions. Everything takes time to settle into. When you're trying to shove something else new into a very busy schedule, it takes time. You can shove it in there, you'll probably do well for a week, and then it'll fall off again. It takes time. Just allow it to settle in. If things are going in your diary and they're working, great. If things are going in your diary and they're not working, then think about that. No change comes without discomfort, not even change that is wanted. All change has a period of settling. And habit number 7 is be consistent and persistent. Just keep putting it in your diary. Keep reminding yourself, this is what I want to do. I want to improve my health. I want to have better health habits. And the purpose of these 7 habits is simply to de-escalate your stress, tension, and overwhelm. That will help you reduce impulse eating and drinking. It'll increase your behavioral flexibility, improve your sleep, and increase your energy. And it's going to put you on a nice, positive, continuous feedback cycle. So I'm Katie Gordon. I'm Dietless Living. If you want any more help with this, let's have a chat later. Thank you. Okay, so our next speaker is Mike Wilkinson. Now, Mike is known as the value sales expert. And if you're looking to understand, communicate, and deliver outstanding value to your customers and get paid for it, this session on the 7 challenges of value will set you firmly on your way. These are the challenges that any business faces as they go on their value journey, from understanding value at the start to delivering it and getting paid at the very end. So enjoy the trip.
Cheers. Thanks very much indeed, Katie, and hello to everybody. And unquestionably, if you are looking to strive and survive in today's market, it is time to stop focusing on price and start focusing on value. And to do that, you need to take and win the value challenge. And as Katie has just said, the challenge is to understand, communicate, and deliver outstanding value for your customers and get paid for it. And the journey we're going to take in the next few minutes is through that value challenge and each of the 7 steps of it. You just had seven challenges from Katie. You've got another 7 challenges coming up now. And the first of the value challenges is to understand just what value is. It's a strange word. Everybody uses it. I hear it all the time in the conversations I'm having with clients. But the problem is that everybody understands value in a different way. So one of the challenges of understanding value is to understand it, first of all, as a concept. So what is value? And then secondly, and more importantly, or most importantly, is to understand how our customers see value. So the starting point is to define exactly what value is. And I got the opportunity to do that some years ago at a sales conference with a group of professional salespeople. There were around 120 of them. And they'd all told me that what they delivered to their customers was great value. And I was so surprised, I asked them to tell me exactly what value is. And I gave them the opportunity to come up with an Oxford English Dictionary definition, beginning with the words value is, and off they went. There were about 10 tables, and we were going to pull all the various definitions together and come up with a sort of, if you like, a potted version of what value was. And about halfway through reading out each of the cards that I got from these tables who have been doing the job, I came up with one card that had 4 words written on it, and it has become my definition of value. and that is value is a mystery. Because until we understand how our customers define value, then to all intents and purposes, that's exactly what it is. It's a mystery. So as a business and as salespeople, we need to solve the value mystery. We need to understand exactly how our customers see value, because the most important lesson of value and value selling is that value is defined by the customer, not by us. So that's challenge number one, understanding just what value is. Challenge two, strangely, is to recognize that value and value perceptions are constantly changing. So just because I know what you value today does not mean, given the fast changing nature of business today, it does not mean that you'll be valuing the same things in a month's time. So you have to keep abreast of the ever-changing nature of value from the perception of your customers, and also recognize, challenge three, the people who actually care about value. Particularly in business to business and in larger sales in business to business, there are increasingly large number of people involved in the decision. And each of them will have a particular view as to what is valuable, even if they work in the same business. So the starting point is to identify people who actually care about your value. Because the other thing about business today is that very often, particularly in a complex sales environment, we are not there when the purchase decision is made. So as the seller, as the potential supplier, we are not around when the decision group get together to determine what it is they are going to do. So the question is, who is going to be there, who is pushing your solution, who's supporting you and what you're proposing to do? And you need to make sure you've identified those people and provided them with everything that they need to help to do that effectively on your behalf. Challenge four is to differentiate in ways that matter. If you are, the thing about value and having a value that is different from competing alternatives is that you have to have a differentiation. And the thing about differentiation is that being different is not differentiation. Differentiation is being different in ways that your customer attaches a value to. So to be able to do that, you need to have addressed challenge number one, which is understanding just what value is. Challenge five is probably the one, along with challenge number one, that I come across as a problem most often. I do lots of surveys, and I can guarantee you that in all the surveys I do, more than 60% of people will agree that they fail to communicate their value effectively. And that is a big, big problem, because one of the reasons people are losing business isn't because their solution isn't a great one, it's because they failed to communicate their value. One of the reasons they're constantly under price pressure and struggle to defend their prices is that they fail to communicate their value effectively. So if that is a challenge for you, then absolutely get in touch and we could talk about it. Challenge six, again, is if you think about 1 to 5, we've actually put value in place. The sixth challenge is to actually share in that value through your price to the customer. Of course, we're trying to come up with the best, most valuable solution to for our customers, but we need to be rewarded for having done that. So it's important that your prices are based upon the value that you are delivering, not just understanding the cost and adding a percentage to it. So value pricing is a much better way of being rewarded for the value that you're delivering. And then the final challenge is to deliver the value that you promised. Challenges 1 to 6 are your value promise. Challenge 7 is delivering it. And if you happen to be a seller, then you will know that very often as sellers, we make the value promise, but it is the organization that ultimately delivers it. So there you have it, the 7 challenges of value. So if you do want to understand, communicate, and deliver outstanding value for your customers, then you have to take and win the value challenge. There you go, Katie.
Thank you, Mike. Wonderful. I love your work. Next, we have John Pryor. John is an expert in business intellectual property and has been helping clients succeed with intellectual property for the last 23 years. And today is talking about matching your business goals with intellectual property value generation and protection. And he will tell you the areas he's going to cover. Thank you, John.
Thank you, Katie. Thank you, everybody. And it's always difficult, of course, to follow the Magnificent Seven. I just have one question for you today, and that is international Kiwi athlete, New Zealand-based athlete, Les Mills, decided he was going to set up a series of gymnasiums. And he maxed out at 12 because New Zealand is quite a small place. So he has 12 gyms, weight training and fitness and so on in New Zealand. How is it, therefore, that he can generate annual turnover of in excess of $154 million? And the answer is really to use his intellectual property. And I wanted to illustrate that because there's much confusion around intellectual property, what it actually is and what is it that I'm going to be talking about. Well, if you think about Les Mills, you can only scale, you could go 50 gyms, he could have gone to Australia, but he's investing all the time in physical machinery and buildings. So what he did, therefore, was he went and he established a process called body pump, which essentially is exercising to music, certain exercises, certain kinds of music. He copyrighted that. He developed his own brand associated with it, Body Pump, and he then took it internationally. And now 6 million people each week practice Body Pump, and they do it under his franchise. And each time they do it, he gets essentially a license fee for that business using his copyrighted process of music and exercise and trading under his own brand. So this is what I mean by intellectual property, and it provides you with a means to scale a business far in excess of building or opening new buildings and putting more machinery into that building, if you get the metaphor. So key areas I'm going to touch on today are, do you own your own logo? So here's a couple of watch outs with regards to intellectual property. Not a lot of people know that when you engage a designer, certainly under UK law, to develop your logo for you, you do not own that logo because he is the creative. Under copyright law, the originator owns that logo unless, and here's the thing, unless in your contract with him it states clearly that that IP, that copyright, that design, that logo is assigned over to you as part of the contract, usually when you pay the money. Same with software and software developers, just something to look out for with regards to intellectual property. And then one I was posting about this morning, it's a photograph of you. Surely you're at liberty to include that in your own social media posts, right? Surely it's me, I'm on there. The answer is actually no, particularly if somebody, and particularly if a professional photographer or even a paparazzi, and thankfully I don't get followed by paparazzi. The idea there is that you can't actually use it because it was taken by a professional photographer and he owns the intellectual property. He owns, or she, sorry, I should say, own the copyright. And unless you get permission or you pay a license fee, you are unable to do that. And of course, a couple of models have been caught out by posting their own image, but it was an image that was taken by somebody else, and they've ended up having to pay damages and quite a few thousands of pounds in order to get away from that copyright case. So just be careful with all aspects of intellectual property. And here's one for you. You probably notice that some people copy your content from your website, your blogs, your materials, possibly even your images. Is that okay? Is it flattering? It's flattering. They clearly think it's very good and they're using it. So I'm flattered. It doesn't matter, does it? Well, the reality is, whether it's flattery or not, you do have to chase it down, and you do have to close them from using it. Essentially, they are infringing your intellectual property. And if you're not seen to be pursuing it, then they could potentially argue that you don't care, and it's in public domain, and therefore they've got a right to use it. So just be very careful. That's why if you go to Velcro and type in Velcro intellectual property, you'll see the whole intellectual property department singing a song about hook and loop, trying to persuade you that you should use hook and loop instead of Velcro. The other key part of your business, just to finish today, is you have a black book. You have a list of clients, contacts, relationships, contract details, pricing, and so on. And that can be protected through a form of intellectual property known as trade secrets. And it definitely is worth undertaking a few simple steps to protect your black book as a trade secret. Because if one of your employees leaves and sets up a competing business, having downloaded your Excel spreadsheet of all your clients and all their information, that can be used against you, that can be used to compete with you. And unless you've defined it and protected it as a trade secret, then you can't actually have any recourse. If you had done the above, then you could actually seek recourse for intellectual property infringement. So I forgot to put my timer on, so I'm going to close there today. Just a couple of tips on intellectual property. So I'm John Pryor from Exalt IP, and if anything today has piqued your interest, please do get in touch, and I'll be more than happy to give you my thoughts and considerations on your business. Thank you. Over to you, Katie.
Thanks, John. I always learn so much from you. And next up today, we have James Brown, not the original godfather of soul, but the go-to expert helping male business owners achieve clarity by removing confusion about where to go to next in business. Guaranteed. James will explain how to identify exactly what you need right now so that you always get what you want, even in difficult times. James has been a business rescue and recovery consultant since 2002 and was particularly busy during the global economic upheaval of 2008 and the decade that followed. His findings have steered him into transformational coaching, which is in alignment with his belief that to maximize any business, you have to start with the man on top. James believes mastery of self is the key to thriving and not just to surviving in business as well as in life. And his top tip starts with clarity.
Okay, Katie, thank you very much for that. I'll start my counter. Yeah, that's correct. I help male business owners, particularly in their 30s to 60s, to fix the problem of where they go next in life and business so they can move forward with clarity and authority, and principally to avoid all the confusion that the world is throwing at them right now. And today I'll show you how to identify exactly what you need so you can always get what you want. It's a simple yet robust strategy that works pretty much every single time. And it boils down to just three things. So if you got this plus that, you'll get that result. If you use this and you multiply it by that, you'll get this result a lot quicker. So by clearly and honestly identifying the real challenges that have been holding you back, you can adapt behaviors so that they align with your goals. So have you ever tried to look at two things at once? I mean, the thing is, you can see both of them, but one is always more out of focus than the other. And that's nothing to do with the fact that you wear glasses or you got poor eyesight. It's just the fact that your brain wants to try and focus on one thing at a time. So, and when I work with clients, what I'm looking for is that one thing that's going to move the needle quickly in the direction that they want to go. You see, I believe that I can fix anything, but I can't fix everything. So what I do is to stimulate the change that's going to help you to thrive and not just survive. So my solution on those 3 points is that I believe that clarity plus focus equals the result. And if you're ready to make that change, then here is where it begins. I'm going to share with you my number one strategy for clarity. You see, I have a list in the form of a quiz of the 186, I think they are, of the most common core human needs. And they include things like what we really want from life. We want acceptance. We want to be loved. We want competence, boldness, brilliance. And a lot of people talk about that they want wealth. Well, wealth is just money. It's just another tool. But what is that wealth going to bring you? So looking at all these core common needs that we're looking for mastery. That's a big thing in my space and men that I work with. They're also looking for peace. They're looking for self-expression. These are all core human needs. So without overthinking, what I'd like you to do, and you can make notes and do this in your own time, is I ask you to think about the top 10 or 15 things that you need most in your life. And I don't want you to go ahead and choose things that you already have. I want you to choose things that you aspire to, even if it seems absolutely out of reach. I mean, one of the things that I look for in a man is the fact that has a vision. He's looking for something that's more than he is now. So anyway, I get you to identify 10 or 15 of those core needs. And then what I need to do from that list is to separate it down to your top 7 core needs. And I'm not talking about eliminating the others. We're just prioritizing those 7. Now, from that list, you're going to then hone it down to just 3. And that's going to take you a bit of time to do that. And I like 3. 3 comes up a lot in things that I do. So if you take the time to break it down to those 3, what you need to do, if you can't choose between 2 or any 2 that are of your needs, what you want to do is to apply that to a real life situation and ask yourself, which would you rather do? So having broken it right down to all 3, to just 3, I want you to take a long, deep breath, take your time and consider the 3 words that you've selected from that list of core needs. Now, of those 3 words, which one is going to make the biggest positive difference in your life right now? That is your core need. And then you need to place them in order of importance. So one that comes up a lot and the one that I use frequently is that with clarity as a core need and focus on the things that you're chasing, you will achieve the result. Now, when you've got, and it's always going to be different for everybody because everybody's different and those core needs change over times. So the things that I valued when I was younger is not the same as the things that I value now, and it won't be the same as the things that I value in the future. So this is an exercise that you should be doing frequently. So eventually you'll get down to your 3 core needs. If I do this and I do that, I will get this result. This always works. If I do this and I get that, I will get this result. And you will know when you've got it right because it feels right in your core, in your absolute core. So I just want to perhaps try and put that into a situation where we can visualize it by looking at a deck of playing cards. We know that in this pack of cards, there are 52, well, there are 54 because there's 2 jokers in here. And we need to select something. I've pre-selected the king because of my kingmaker program. So if I put this king somewhere in a split deck of cards, if I just put it back in here and then I cover it up, I know that that king is in this pack of cards. I don't know where, but I know that it's in there somewhere. And these are like the 52 to 54 things that take up your time every single day. So if I split this pack, I might find that the king that I'm chasing is in this pack, but it might not be there all the time. So it doesn't matter about all these other 54 cards. It doesn't matter that you're struggling with cash flow today. It doesn't matter that perhaps your wife isn't speaking to you and listening to what you have to say. All that matters is that the king is the thing that you're focused on. So that's all that we need to be focused on. It's about having clarity an understanding of where we want to be. So I don't want to take up too much more of your time, because I believe that it can be just as simple as that. You need clarity on what you want, and you focus on that and nothing else. And I know that people have been giving tips this morning. I've only got 3 tips. Tip number 1, get clarity. Tip number 2, get clarity. Tip number 3, you got it. Get clarity. It's only when you decide that you can know what you want and focus on that and can ignore everything else, that's when you'll succeed. I'm pretty much on time there, Katie, so I'd like to hand straight back to you.
Sensational, James. Love the cards. And not the godfather of soul, but definitely the godfather of clarity. And next up, we have Debbie Bryan. Debbie is the founder of Bryan Academy, team building for pioneers in work and life. She's an award-winning coach of 25 years and an NLP master practitioner, helping CEOs achieve balance and happiness. And welcome to today, Debbie. Looking forward to your talk.
Hi, and welcome to the talk this morning. With that introduction, I don't need to introduce myself. I am actually going to try and show a tiny little slideshow. So just bear with me 2 seconds. It's maybe not going to work. Okay. So the 3 subjects that I was going to do are how to escape a chaos mindset. When I say chaos, I mean the hustle, that absolute need to be working 24/7. Otherwise, you find that you don't achieve anything. With a lot of business owners that I've worked with, they feel like they should have this chaos mindset, that actually that's the way that it is forward. And I'm here to tell you that actually that's the dead opposite of what you're doing. Your creativity and your nervous system will literally be under attack whilst you're on that chaos mindset. So a couple of tips on how to get out of that mindset is to plan your day. Also to have a look on your day of, does this make my boat go faster? Does what you're doing, the networking, the coffee, and the talking, the watching every single webinar in the world, is that actually contributing to your business? Does it have a possibility of contributing to your business? Because if it doesn't, it needs to come off of your list. So I'm only going to briefly go over these. If anybody wants to talk in more depth, then the details will be sent out afterwards. The next one is how to deal with a rebel team. And this is where I would absolutely love for my slides to work, and they're not going to. So there's 4 different personality types that you would have in your rebel team. The biggest reason that you've got a rebel team is because either you recruited wrong or you're managing wrong. Now, most of us have become managers at some point in our career, mainly because we were brilliant at what we were doing and not because we were brilliant managers. Unfortunately, sometimes people say, oh, you're amazing, go and make 10 more of you. And it puts you under pressure, and it puts your team under pressure. We're, as entrepreneurs and business owners, we nearly always are driven by money, but you're going to find that some of your team are not driven by money, and that their values and their beliefs and what actually drives them are completely different. And this is where you will end up with the rebel team. I don't know if anyone's ever done an interview and recruited somebody and said, oh my God, I love this person. She's just like me. We got on like a house on fire. That's an absolute disaster in your team, because that person doesn't respect you. So the 4 different main drivers that you would have, and I've got a really easy way for you to remember them, again, like James with the pack of cards, but I'm not going to do tricks. So your first driver will be a spade. This is most entrepreneurs, and most people who are spades are very, very results driven. This is your main driver. You're less driven by relationships. So it can be somebody who makes decisions really fast. It can be somebody who always has to be right. Their decision is the one that's right. They will drive the business. This is your leaders that you would have. It's most likely most business owners. The downside of somebody that is so fast is that they can come across as being really, really arrogant. And if this is you in your team, you now need to be aware of what other people that you've got within your team that are bouncing off of you. Because what happened to me years ago is I was trying to train somebody to do something. I'm very fast paced, and this person couldn't get it. And he must have come to me like 3 or 4 days in a row. And the frustration that was coming off of me with this person was like, oh my God, how stupid are you? You don't understand it. Was because I was talking to him in my language and not talking to him in his language. As a result, we sat down, I changed it to his pace, more detailed, more lots of questions, went through the process, and he got it and went away and was fantastic. What did I learn from that? I made that person intimidated to come and talk to me. I made that person feel bad about themselves, and I probably made them feel bullied. Something that none of us want to do in our business, and it's not a great way to thrive, especially now we've got people that are working from home. So your spade is great for results, but you're going to need to watch yourself for that arrogance and that lack of care. The next person that you're going to have in your team was probably a diamond. Diamonds are super fun. They love to play. They're the unicorn of your business, realistically. They're always there when there's something exciting going on. But the downside of a diamond is that they get bored very easily. So if you give them a very detailed task, they'll start and have massive momentum. But if it doesn't really get results very quickly, day or two, you're going to find that they're bored. They're then disruptive. With the diamonds, they buy into your vision. So if you're selling, you sell to your diamonds, you give them something sparkly and something amazing, even a done-for-you service, they're going to love you forever because they don't really want to put the work in. If they're going to put the work in, they're hyper-focused. They want fast results. And then the next one that you might have in your team would be your club. So a club is very, very detail orientated. This is the dead opposite to your spade. So that's the person who, number one, they have to be right. Okay. They need respect and they need to be right. And they will freeze if they're not sure that they're right. You might see it as procrastination, but they're not actually procrastinating. They need to know the details. They need stats. They need information. They need to be able to ask questions. They need all the details. They're the type of person who, if you're a traveler like me, I would book a holiday and go the next day. They're the person who plans their holiday, has an itinerary, gets the seats booked, gets the car park in, gets to the airport on time, has a plan. So your clubs are fantastic within your business, because if you are a spade driver, then you need this person to pick up all the little details that you don't want to do. But equally, they need you to inspire them to step out of their comfort zone a little bit. They're very, very clinical. So, for example, a spade and a diamond, get a new laptop, they just open it and use it. Your club is going to read the manual. And then lastly, you have a heart in your business as well. So your heart is usually very relationship orientated. This is the person who keeps the team going. This is the person who knows what's going on. She loves for everybody to do well. If you're speaking or doing engagements or doing presentations, these characteristics, the order that I've just told you, that's the order that you speak to them, because for reasons, there's obviously low boredom, need sparkly, need to ask questions. These things will all come across in your business. There's lots of different ways that this can be used. So this is great to help you in your business. It's also great if you don't get on with your mother-in-law and you can understand now what drives you. If you're getting this, put in the comments who you think you are, whether you're a spade, a diamond, a club, or a heart. If your partner does something that absolutely annoys the life out of you, I'm very much spade, diamond. My husband's a club, and what happened is when I discovered this, I became a bit more tolerant of some of the things that he needs to do, like be early, not turn up a restaurant and blag a table, because I understood that actually that's something that was a deep need for him, and actually it pained him to be as ad hoc as I was. And so you get a better understanding. If your partner is an opposite to you, or your partner is like in life, normally you'd go, oh, they have to sleep on the left side of the bed. Wherever in the world, they have to sleep on the left side of the bed. And that's just one of their things. And you tolerate it. If you understand what personality, top driver, obviously there's a mixture of this for everybody, but your top driver, if you understand this in everybody around you, you'll understand what they need from you. The clubs and the hearts need you to be a little bit slower. I'm very fast paced. So if I was doing a room presentation, or if I was only speaking to, say, clubs and hearts, which I did on a presentation last week, I slowed everything right down and we went through it. We had an hour to do the same presentation that you're getting in 10 minutes. So I'm not sure of my time here, so I'm going to go. If anyone has any questions, put it in the comments and I'll try and answer you. But back to you, Jackie. Katie, sorry.
Thanks, Debbie. That was excellent. I really loved the different personality types. Thank you so much. And next up, last on our list today, is Steve Mills. Steve has 28 years in the business and is a leading specialist in helping small businesses to grow. Steve's going to be talking about why marketing doesn't work and what you can do about it.
Hello, everybody. I know what you're thinking. 28 years in business. Surely not. He must have been like 10 when he started. But sadly, that is true. I have been doing this for a long, long time. And I believe, you know, helping businesses is a real calling for me. It's something I'm really passionate about. And I'm hoping I'll be doing it, you know, for another 28 years. It's actually 28 years on the 1st of May. So I'm not quite there yet, but just a few more days and it will have been 28 years. Now, my talk today is why marketing doesn't work and what to do about it, which is a weird thing to say, really, for somebody who's spent 28 years in marketing. But here's a really important point for me to make, just to kick off with, and that is this. If you want a better business, then you've got to become a better business owner. What do I mean? What I mean is that, you know, in life and in business, we've all got things that we can do. We've got skills. But if you think about business, there are really 3 key skills for us to master, to be good at. Firstly is the operational side of the business. You know, if we're no good at doing the work, if I'm a car mechanic, but I'm actually pretty rubbish, which I am, then, you know, that's probably not a good business for me to go in. So we need to master. We need to get to a level where of what I call mastery, where we master the skill of operations. That's what we're good at. So the hairdresser becomes owns an hairdressing salon. The marketing person starts their own marketing business. Accountant their own practice, and so on and so forth. And generally speaking, that's the main skill that the business owner's got. However, there are 2 more. The second one is finance. They need to be good at the financial side of the business. And obviously that's incredibly important, and leaving it to an accountant who's going to come into your business every now and again possibly is not the best thing to do. We all need a level of accountancy expertise. My accountancy friends tell me that the typical business owner spends less than 2 minutes looking at their accounts before they sign them off and send them off to a company's house. Not really the where we need to be. We need to know more. And the third area is marketing. You know, if you cannot generate leads in enough quantity, profitably enough, as Mike Wilkinson was saying, all about value, then, you know, you're going to struggle. You know, Peter was talking about, you know, the value and the idea of cash is king, and that, you know, the main reason businesses fail is due to basically lack of cash. And if that's true, let's just take a few minutes to think about marketing and why it doesn't work. One of the reasons, I think, is that people don't stick at it. I hear all the time people go, well, I tried Facebook advertising, Steve, and it doesn't work. I say, all right, what did you do? Well, you know, I boosted a post. I spent £10 a day for a week and I didn't get any business. It's just not, that's almost, for me, it's like going, well, I tried to be good at tennis. I played for a couple of weeks and I still didn't get to Wimbledon. So I've gone off and I now play football. I've tried that for, you know, I've been at that for a couple of months and now, you know, I'm still not that good. It takes time. It takes time and effort and money. You know, you got to put money into marketing. So many people are so reluctant to invest based on basically past experience. So my number one thing for you is to say, don't behave like what I call a marketing butterfly, flitting from one thing to another, trying many different things. It's like, again, from a sports metaphor, it's like me trying to be a world champion at golf and tennis and football and cricket and table tennis and so on and so forth, all at the same time. It's probably impossible. So let's think about what you can do to improve in each and every element of your sales and marketing. Now, what do I mean? Let's take a web page, right? Now, this can apply to a web page, an email, a social media post, what you say when you stand up at a networking event, and so on and so forth. But we're going to talk about a web page. What's wrong with it? Well, what I always do firstly is go to the headline. There's an old saying in advertising that the headline is the advert for the advert. And as far as a web page is concerned, the headline of the web page is the advert for the web page. You with me? So what's a typical web page called? Well, I see so many websites that have got a web page called Our Services or About Us. You know, give me a break. Can't you come up with anything more interesting than Our Services? You know, even if you had accountancy services, landscape gardening services, at least you're telling the person looking what the page is about. And more importantly, you're telling Google what the page is all about. So, you know, go and have a look at your headlines. I remember one great example I've got is working with a company many years ago. I went in, they were spending $2,000 a month on advertising. It was actually on the back of a magazine, a glossy mag. And they'd been doing that for 6 months, 12 grand, 0 leads. I changed the headline from the name of the company to local authorities save 25% on recycling, which is what the company actually did, rather than just advertising the name of the company. That month, they got 5 leads. They turned 2 of them into sales and made 5 million quid. Now, you know, no, I'm not saying that to impress you, just to impress upon you that by changing something as simple as a headline can make a profound difference to the results that you get. Now, where do we go from there? Well, we then look at the subheads. We then look at the words that you use. We then look at the video that you've got on your website. That is assuming you've got a video on your website, because do you know what? A lot of people don't. And I'm not talking about the video that's on the homepage saying hello and welcome to whatever it is website. Thank you very much for listening and so on. I'm talking about a video on each and every page, or at least each and every sales page, to help improve conversion rate. Okay. So we got the really good video. We've amended the headline. We've altered the text on there to try and improve that. We've altered the subheads. What else do we need? Testimonials. You know, I could tell you all day how great I am and how brilliant, you know, if you come with me, it'll be great. And you're going, yeah. We've heard it all before, Steve, from marketing people. And do you know what? You know, some of it's true and some of it isn't. But if I could get, say, 150 of my clients, which I have actually done, I can send you a document with 150 testimonials based on the results that I've achieved with my clients. You know, that's much more powerful. Now, obviously, you're not going to have 150 testimonials on a web page, but you could take the top 2 or 3 and add them there. Or perhaps you could even have a video testimonial, which is even more believable than a written one, because people are a little bit skeptical. They think, oh, yeah, of course that's a genuine testimonial. But if it's a video one, then there's certainly much more chance that what's been said is true. Lastly, and by no means least, is the CTA. What do I mean? Call to action, which is normally right down at the bottom of the page where nobody goes to look at it. So A, improve it. B, make sure you've got one, because a lot of web pages don't have one. And C, maybe add it near the top, and then again in the middle, then again at the bottom, because somebody might come to that page and think, do you know what? This is just what I want. Where do I go? Oh, here. Let's just click that and off we go. So I'm just about at the end. I've rattled through that as quickly as I can. I hope it was of value to you. And don't forget, whilst I was talking about a web page there, that applies to an email, that applies to really any of your marketing. So take a look at that. Take a look at each and every element of everything that you do and work out how you can do it better. one final thing is I do these every day at 12:30. I'm doing a LinkedIn live. So if you ever want to, jump onto mine and do that and, provide some value. Thank you very much for listening, and speak to you again soon. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Steve. Wonderful as always. And thank you to all our presenters, and thank you to you for joining us today. Please do connect with us and find out more about how we can help you to achieve your goals and realize your full potential. So if everybody would like to come back on screen, and we get to say goodbye to everybody. Been wonderful working.
Cheers. Bye-bye. Thanks, Katie.
Thank you.
Bye now.